Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and I'm not alone. I'm joined not only by Mai, but also Alana. Hello, both of you.
Hello.
It's a girls' night in, yes. And speaking of night, rain, that's sort of relevant, I suppose. You know, Elden Ring was supposed to be coming out on Switch 2, rather, in 2025. I don't know whether you've looked at the calendar recently. It's 2026, and yet we've seen hide nor hair of it. And so, I mean, what is going on? I mean, we know that there were potentially some issues to begin with. Felix had a go. Felix had a go with the game a good long while ago now, and it was not running very well. But then Xeon got a go later on, and it was running a lot better. So, where is it, guys? That's why I've asked you here. Where is it?
I do not know. Where is Bandai Namco? What are they doing? What is FromSoft doing? Because we've also just not seen any trailers for it since the reveal for Switch 2.
Yeah.
Since the April Direct. Yeah. And FromSoft have two big titles in the bag for this year alone. They have Elden Ring for the port, and then they have the Duskbloods, and we don't know anything about either of these things beyond what we've seen and what outlets have reported and what Felix and Xeon have tried. So, yeah, where is it? Where is my fix? Where's my fix?
Well, coming from someone who's never played Elden Ring before, I know. I've dabbled a little bit in the Dark Souls games, and I'm very bad. And then I played a little bit of Bloodborne, which I fell in love with. But I really want to play Elden Ring, but I wanted to play it more compact. So I'm like, I need the start of my fix really more than anything else. It's probably just trapped in some sort of never-ending boss cycle. That's where it is at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I'm absolutely desperate for it, because as much as anything, I'm really curious to see it after all the reports, Felix having a go and saying how poorly it was running and things like that. I'm just curious to see. And now that we've seen the likes of Final Fantasy VII and so many other great ports, I sort of have confidence now that it should be able to run really rather well, and Cyberpunk open world, in case Final Fantasy VII was too linear, to run on not the other way around, you know what I mean. I'm fairly confident it should be able to run. Now, from what I've read, From Software does not have a particularly great track record when it comes to optimizing games, particularly when it comes to PC versions. Elden Ring, I seem to, from what I've read, was not especially not especially optimized for the platform, should we say. So it may well be that that's the nub of it, and maybe Bandai Namco have got outside, help from, I don't know, something like, porting studio like Panic Button or something like that. Maybe they've been, sort of enlisted to try and help out because they know about optimization a little bit more. It's difficult to know, really. And this is what's so frustrating, is that we have nothing to go on. Nothing. Not even a little crumb. We had the trailer. We had some, sort of very lockdown previews, and now here we are. What? Really? What?
It's a big game, let's say. As you say, Alex, FromSoft have never been particularly great at porting their games or getting them running on systems. Even the PS5 version of Elden Ring has problems still. Just the graphical blips here and there. And, to be fair, I'm sure they want... everybody would want their game on Switch 2 to be the best it can be, right?
Course,
and I'm sure that's part of the problem. All the early reports probably sent them a little bit scared and were like, oh no. And we don't know if anyone's working on the port, right? We don't know if it's coming from in-house at FromSoft or if it's someone else. So that part as well would indicate something. I don't know. We'd have a better idea of what was going on maybe if we knew that. But yeah, Elden Ring, and we should say, I think the DLC is included with the Switch 2 version as well.
I was going to ask. I think it is, because it's Tarnished Edition. So maybe that's why it's taking them a little bit longer, because they're trying to finite all the DLC with the main game as well.
Right.
It could just be that, but
maybe, but at the same time, I'm not familiar with the DLC, but I would be surprised if there was anything within the DLC that was pushing beyond what the base game did in terms of resources in the engine and stuff like that. And I could be completely wrong about that. I don't know. I'm unfamiliar. But at the end of the day, if it's an addition to an existing game, I would expect it to be at least within the remit. So I can't see any particular instance where it wouldn't be. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying, what are you doing? Just stick it out, as some people on the internet seem to think is the case. That's how you port games. What are you talking about? You just drag and drop it onto a different console, surely. Change some UI elements. But, sort of, I'm sure there's a lot of hoops they've got to jump through and things like that. But I think it's the silence that has been really not getting to me. It's not keeping me up at night much. But it's just the fact that there's been almost no communication beyond it's not coming out in 2025, guys. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand sometimes it's better to say nothing in these instances and just, let, sort of, you don't want to give people false hope, sort of say, oh, we'll have it early 2026 and then something else comes up, I think, sort of, companies, publishers are getting a little bit cagey about release dates now after so many delays for so many different reasons. I mean, Elder Scrolls 6, when's that coming out? Nobody knows.
Well, the thing is, it's like, from what I recall, because I have a friend who is a big Souls fan, when we were working together in my last job, I seem to remember him saying that, FromSoft were completely radio silent for ages when it came to Elden Ring coming out. I hope they're not doing that again and just deciding just to be selectively silent on purpose. But it could just be a repetition of history, really. But as patient as I want to be, I feel like it is going to be a little bit of we have to wait around. But even on social media, I've not seen anything in regards to even just, hey, we're working. This is something we're working on, or even some of the because you see stuff online like on Blue Sky and whatnot, where you have devs actively putting out, this is what we're working on. Oh, look, this is some of the Switch edition or whatever, but it's annoying. I'm frustrated.
Simply, yeah.
I've been putting it off playing it, to be honest, because I have a PS4, I don't have a PS5, I've got an Xbox One, but I don't want to play it on the older consoles because I know it won't run on the older consoles very well, let alone on my poor little PC, which is gathering dust right now. I want to play it on a Switch, so I have the option to kind of lie in bed and play it rather than having to be glued to my desk. Long story short, I just want to play it.
Yeah, they did very similar things with the DLC, because remember, people were clamoring for Shadow of the Erdtree that went years and years without them saying anything, and then all of a sudden they were like, hey, it's coming out in 4 months, and they were like, ah. So I reckon that's exactly what's going to happen again this time. But
I hope it's not as long as 4 months. I want them to say it's coming out, and then it happens in
right,
2 weeks or something.
Oh, good grief! No. The spring is so packed already.
It is, yeah.
Even for third-party games so far, and we don't have a lot of dates for a lot of Switch 2 stuff in the spring, but we're probably going to get some, and where will Elden Ring fit? I mean, Bandai Namco don't need to worry about that necessarily because they're not Nintendo. They don't need to worry about clashing, but just give us something. Even a little trailer, showcase of one of the new classes, or some area.
Because, I mean, I know obviously people have played it, and I'm fairly certain Felix said that he specifically tried one of the new classes, which was tricky for him because, obviously you get used to a certain way of playing and then suddenly you're thrust into a situation. Something that I think some people forget when it comes to us poor sods having to play video games for a career. But maybe there's more information out there than we know, which would be fair enough. At the end of the day, we can't have our finger on the pulse of everything. But if they have, put something out about this, it's not been loud because we haven't heard about it, and we're sitting here desperate to get Elden Ring on Nintendo Switch 2 as soon as possible. And I mean, it may well be that in the coming weeks, or so, we get a direct, and then maybe they include it and they say it's coming out next week or even later today. A shadow drop, if you'll pardon, the shadow drop of the Erd tree. That would be. I mean, I don't know if it would be a good idea.
I
don't think they'll do a shadow drop.
It would
I don't
make
know. I feel like
waves,
they're going to be
wouldn't it?
far too. I feel like they're going to be too cautious about it to do a shadow drop. If I'm honest, like. I honestly think that if it is going to be announced in the next direct, they're probably going to still give another 6 months or another 4 months. I don't know. I'm just a little bit cynical about it. I know. I think it's because like in the past, like I've said earlier, like they were so cautious before about announcing it that maybe they're just being extra cautious because it switched to, and also because of the reception it had at Gamescom with the footage not exactly, not being too well, but. I'm just being cynical.
I think it's not unreasonable given the current circumstances, to be honest. I don't really know what else we can say except Bandai Namco, release it now. Now. I know you're watching. You always watch. I see them in the comments telling me to get a haircut. Or it's the only thing I can think of that I could actually talk about in a YouTube video that wouldn't, sort of get us banned. But anyway, are you excited for Elden Ring on Switch 2? Are you too also absolutely champing at the bit for it to come out? Let us know with a comment down below. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you Elden Ring that subscribe button and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. Bad ending. I love it.
We do love a good
God.